Here he limp calls the shove with twos. I'd much rather be raising or just folding than limp calling. Versus this guy has been pretty tight up to this point. Shoving, I don't know, almost 10 big blinds. I think I would just give him credit for a hand and fold the twos when you're flipping at best. Min raise from this guy gets called by the big blind who has less than 10 big blinds. Obviously not a stack you want to be flatting raises with. Ace king, nice. Get respect. This guy shoves. What are our odds here? 1.5 to 1. I guess you can fold. Probably would have been calling with like queen jack there, I guess. This guy raises again, so you can see he's playing definitely the most aggressive out of anyone up to this point. Psycho check calls the flop. We've seen Psycho limp fold another hand, so I know he's definitely capable of having like 9-10 or like a queen of hearts here, so I think you should definitely be betting again in John's spot and probably can get him to fold most of those hands. When he check raises here, I guess he's representing a flush or an 8. Other than that, I think he's bluffing, but I don't think this is the type of player, especially with this sizing, to be bluffing like this, so he probably just had an 8 in that spot. I think this raise is good. These guys have been playing pretty tight up to this point. A decent flop, but very draw heavy. I think you should bet something like 100k here. It's good. Here, ace jack suited, a 5 big blind shove under the gun. When I was just quickly looking through the hands, I just looked at maybe like 20 hands. This was one of the ones I saw, and at that time I was thinking, okay, you can fold here because John can be doing this with huge hands, but based on how he's played up to this point, like I was thinking he shouldn't have flatted. Shouldn't be flatting here very light with still 4 players to act left behind him and him only having like 20 big blinds. But how he's played up to this point, we saw him limp call with 2s, so I'm confident that he would be like calling this shove with a lot of aces and kind of king queen, maybe king jack type hands. Smaller pairs, I think he would shove his ace queen and ace king almost always. So I think you're only worried about maybe aces and kings here. Other than that, you're going to have him beat and you're getting a great price versus the other guy. So I think you can make it like 3.5 million here and fold to Psycho or the big blind shove and call these 2 guys if they shove. He folds though. So I'm pretty sure the guy would have folded the king queen, and if not, it wouldn't have been that bad anyway. He had him beat. Here, this schmuck guy flats a raise with 10 big blinds or like 13 big blinds. John obviously looks like he's shutting down here when schmuck has been so tight up to this point. He probably has a hand on this stack, and that's what happened. I think John's shutdown is probably good versus that kind of player. He's probably going to have a big hand most of the time. And definitely once the turn is an ace, it's not a good card to bluff it, because now schmuck will not give you credit for an ace when he has a pair in his hand. When there's 2 aces on the board, it's obviously less likely for you to have an ace. That hand, the guy checks through the flop and then bets the turn. Sorry, I didn't do it. Which is kind of interesting after being the pre-flop raiser. I'm not really sure what he's repping on this turn by betting. I guess he's representing like 7s, 8s, or like ace 10. Other than that, I think he's going to be bluffing in this spot, and might be a good spot for these guys to semi-bluff like queen jack or like even king queen in this spot. Psycho's not repping much. I guess 9s and 4s are the only real hands. Maybe ace 10 that he can call versus resistance there.